Live from the Bill Austin Studios in downtown Phoenix, you're listening to Traffic Jam on Blaze Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Traffic Jam. We are back. It is a full house. Good to see you guys. How's everybody doing today? Who am I joined by?
I'm good. I'm Dominic Pasella. First time that we've had a full show in a long time, I want to say.
Glad to see everybody back. AJ Goncalves here as always. Welcome back to Melanie, especially. Welcome back.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, my name's Melanie Ochoa. Yeah, I'm finally back, guys. The flu kind of took me out last week, but I'm back full strength, kind of. So.
Yeah, and I'm Noah Reed. I got the cold last week. It was floating around, but we are going to roll right into it. We got some breaking news coming out of Tucson, Arizona. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, of course. We just got this news just today, actually. An employee died at the JBS Tucson meat processing facility. Again, the incident took place earlier today in Tucson, Arizona, near 91st and Buckeye Avenues. The officers were actually called around 8:45 a.m. today for a report on an unresponsive employee, and of course, the employee was unfortunately pronounced dead at the scene. Of course, unfortunately, no further updates have been given yet as of today, but again, we'll keep you posted next week if anything happens.
I just want to hear what are your guys' thoughts. I mean, obviously, this is not something you ever want to see with stuff going on in the meat process business, especially those. I feel like a lot of people kind of push aside those people who are still working in factories, processing facilities, but they are still dangerous places, even though there's been a lot of safety and precautions that have put into place.
I feel bad for the family, as in like any tragedy, especially now towards the holiday season, Thanksgiving right around the corner. That's just a tough situation. I just feel for everyone involved. It's going to be a very somber Thanksgiving for the family and any parties involved. Just it's tough anytime you get an incident like this.
Yeah, and I'm reading, it just says that the cause of death still hasn't been found yet, and it's been quite a few hours since the incident happened earlier today, so really interesting when that all comes out, once they put the pieces together, what really went on there.
Yeah, of course. It's just very unfortunate news. Incredibly sad to see just waking up this morning. Again, I hope they find all that information out for the families involved, of course. But do we want to move into anything a bit less?
Yeah, why don't we move into sports? And being that we're here at ASU, let's talk about this football game that's coming up, right? Huge game this Saturday. But before I do that, why don't I give you a recap of where things stand at the moment? ASU football went on the road last Saturday to take on the Kansas State Wildcats. They won by a final score of 24-14. Sun Devils, they started out guns a-blazing in this one, jumping out to a 21-0 lead at halftime. Kansas State tried to make a comeback in the second half, but the Sun Devils were just too hot to handle for the Wildcats. The Sun Devils got huge performances once again out of Sam Levitt, 21-34, 275, 3 touchdowns in the win. And as we mentioned last week, the Levitt to Tyson connection, that's something to watch this weekend as well. It heated up and it reached the boiling point. Tyson, 12 catches, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. The now number 21 ranked Arizona State University heading back to a sold out Mountain America Stadium for homecoming weekend as well. We'll get to homecoming weekend later as well. The number 14 ranked BYU Cougars are going to come into town in a matchup where potentially one of these two teams could be eyeing for that Big 12 championship. This one could be the road straight to it. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm pumped for this game. Got my student ticket. That was number 919 in line. I think that was my number.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I waited for a while, but I have the student ticket. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to bring my voice too. I'm ready to cheer ASU when I get there.
Yeah, this one definitely going to be Big 12 Game of the Year. I have it on locks. The Inferno is going to be jumping. I think this is the first time ASU's had a legitimate sellout all season in quite a few years, I want to say. Super interesting to see them ranked, especially after the 3-9 seasons in 2022 and 2023. Yeah, Noah, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't get in that crazy wait line. I waited till 1 o'clock, got my ticket, no problem. But I did have a friend who's he's a student at Creighton, and he was texting me. He's like, "Hey, I've heard this football game is gonna be really big. I know they normally do like packages, like students can get like an extra ticket." Oh, and I was like, "Yeah, normally they're doing that, but they're not offering it for this game." He's like, "Well, how much do the tickets cost right now?" I was like, "Buddy, they're $285." And then a few hours later, they announced the sellout. So I'm excited. I'm gonna be there. We'll obviously get into some of the extra festivities that you can touch on for homecoming week later on in the show. But Melanie, what are you gonna be there?
No, I am so sad about not getting a ticket. I quite literally waited in line, and then I decided, I can't even remember my number. It was like in the 800s, but I just kind of gave up and quit and said, oh, I'll get a ticket later. And then I saw on one of my friend's stories that all of the tickets are sold out. But yeah, no, I was going to go to, again, I genuinely do love watching the football games, even though I don't exactly understand them. But I was going to go cheer on the Homecoming King here in downtown. Shout out to Jackson Hamblin for that, because I know the Homecoming Court is going to be there as well. So
Nice. It sounds like a great weekend. I can't wait to be there. Again, Inferno is going to be packed. It's going to be hot in the Inferno, even though it's getting a little chilly outside.
Well, and it wasn't a great week for the Phoenix Suns. Why don't you take us into it?
Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix Suns, right? They've lost their last 4 games with a frustrating Monday loss, culminating it all for the Phoenix Suns. Losses to the Orlando Magic, the Timberwolves, Oklahoma City Thunder, Sacramento Kings. The skid, for the most part, has been due to the loss of superstar Kevin Durant. He's still trying to come back from his left calf strain. The bad news for Suns fans, though, is that they'll be without Durant and Bradley Beal tonight, as they will look to get back on the winning side of things as they take on a very formidable opponent, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, and the New York Knicks tonight at the Footprint Center with a tip-off at 8 o'clock. However, there's good news. With the bad news, there's always good news. The good news for the Suns fans is, according to ESPN, Suns owner Matt Ishbia, he said that he fully expects Kevin Durant to sign a long-term extension next offseason and wants the superstar to retire as a Phoenix Sun. Once this team gets healthy, they may be able to contend in the Western Conference, but again, health is the primary issue from a Phoenix Suns standpoint. Wondering where the State of the Union here was on the Traffic Jam show with the Phoenix Suns. Any developing takes, anything you want to get off your chest now about the Phoenix Suns?
I agree with you, AJ. I mean, this was a team that started off super hot to begin the season. Losing KD, I feel like you lose a lot of chemistry there. The most pure scorer to ever play the game, in my opinion. Yeah, definitely a hard loss. Now you have Bradley Beal out. Can Devin Booker get a win against the Knicks by himself tonight? Because the Knicks also looking pretty decent in the East. I mean, the Eastern Conference is pretty weak, but Jalen Brunson is a superstar. Cat, superstar as well. Melanie, I know you're a Suns fan. What do you think?
It's been a really, really rough couple of games. Of course, I'm actually going to the Knicks game today,
Nice.
which is happening at 8 p.m. Again, there have been rumors, though. I know the Bleacher Report posted something earlier today, I believe a couple hours ago, that there's some optimism that Kevin Durant should hopefully be returning from his injuries next week, which is great because we're facing the Lakers off next week. So, again, hoping he recovers. Again, health is the main priority here. We need him to get better and get back on his feet and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm diving in here to the ESPN list of all the players who are currently listed as day-to-day and out, and the list just goes on and on and on. So I feel like we're already in that part of the season where this NBA season has just felt very physical, very aggressive. I mean, I've watched a number of Sacramento Kings game, and half of our starting lineup is completely out right now. So I'm feeling for you Suns fans out there who, you know, it's tough to be missing a superstar, and obviously the schedule they've got is, you know, not favorable, but like you said, hopefully Durant gets back in this game soon and, you know, can start putting up the numbers that we all know he can do.
Absolutely. I did also want to touch in on tennis. I know there's the boxing and the whole fight and all that stuff. I'm going to kind of leave that out of this. I'm going to just get right into the tennis thing because this is a big story, honestly. A legend of the game is officially retired. That's right. I'm talking about tennis legend Rafael Nadal. His incredible tennis career has officially come to an end with the loss at the Davis Cup. As Spain were stunned today by the Netherlands, he played the final match of his career. Excuse me, that was yesterday, rather. He lost 6-4, 6-4 to Bochach van de Zenschelbeek. Hold on, let me try that again. Bochach van de Zenschelp. There we go. I don't know what I was saying on that first one. He lost in the quarterfinals of the Davis Cup. The lefty Nadal, I mean, one of the most accomplished careers, not only just on the tennis court, but really in all of sports. An impressive 92 singles titles, 22 majors, 2 Olympic gold medals. The King of Clay won a record 14 French Open championships. He left an indelible mark on the game of tennis. His accomplishments both on and off the court are going to live forever in the hearts of tennis fans, me included. I was a lifelong tennis player, played for 10 years, all the way through high school. The one guy that I always followed his training regimen, one of just a hard worker, was Rafael Nadal. Nadal, I was a righty, so he was a lefty, so there's a little difference there. I was always a Novak Djokovic guy, if you really know your tennis. But at the end of the day, though, they lost a legend. This guy definitely on the Mount Rushmore of tennis. You can make the argument that he's the greatest of all time. I mean, the generation that tennis had with Nadal, with Roger Federer, with Novak Djokovic, impressive. Now I'm curious to see where the sport will go from here. Carlos Alcaraz is a star from Spain as well, just like Nadal, who won gold medals there with Spain. I'm curious to see how much of the legacy he had will inflict on Carlos Alcaraz. So all in all, great career, and wish him nothing but the best in retirement. Tennis, huge loss.
Yeah, I grew up as a lefty. I tried playing tennis a little bit in 7th grade. Tried to model the game after Rafi. Didn't work out too well. But yeah, you left out a pretty important name in that Mount Rushmore. Andy Murray, another guy who was phenomenal. And it's weird seeing this generation kind of come to an end in tennis. I mean, I didn't really watch too much tennis, but when I did, it was always Djokovic, always Andy Murray, always Federer, and always Rafael Nadal. Heck of a career, and I'm glad to see he's getting his flowers.
You guys have any other thoughts here on Rafa?
No, but I mean, we've got a stacked show. Let's just keep on rolling through it.
Yeah, one more thing I just want to touch in. I know Don Pasella is very happy about this. Just an hour ago, the Cy Young winners came out an hour or two ago. The National League, Chris Sale, Atlanta Braves southpaw, 18-3, most wins in his career, 2.38 ERA. Fantastic bounce back year coming from the Red Sox. A lot of questions about his ability to still be a big game pitcher, and he showed up when it mattered most this year for the Braves, and a huge year for him. In the American League, this is the Don Pasella part of the show. Tarek Skubal, the Detroit Tigers southpaw, had his breakout this year, and for that, he won a Cy Young, his best pitcher in the American League for Major League Baseball, amassing an 18-4 record. I mean, that's impressive. And an ERA of 2.39. I had him on my fantasy baseball team, too. This guy's terrific. Lights out pitcher. And congrats to the Southpaws and being named the best pitchers for the past baseball season. MVP voting coming out this week as well. So, Dom, I just wanted to get your quick thoughts. Tarek Skubal, Cy Young.
Yeah, without Skubal, I don't think the Tigers would have made that legendary comeback run to make the playoffs like they did. You said it, 18-4 record, 2.39 ERA. Had the triple crown of pitchers in the American League. Insane work for him. And as a lefty, got to be supportive of the lefty pitchers. So really, really cool to see a Tiger win the Cy Young, the first one since Verlander and Scherzer back in those 2012, 2013 days when they were competing for a World Series. So hopefully we see something similar with Skubal, who's the ace of the Detroit Tigers.
Impressive. Yeah, that's all I got for sports. I'm just going to do a little flea flicker and dish it back over to Dom, and he's got entertainment headlines for us.
Yeah, so some pretty upsetting news this morning. I mean, not really news, but this morning the funeral for One Direction member Liam Payne was held, and all of his fellow One Direction members, Harry Styles, Zayn Malik, Niall Horan, and Louis Tomlinson, reunited for their lost friend. And the service was held in Amersham, England, and the funeral was not made public in advance to prevent large crowds, but a lot of local fans did come. They paid their respects nearby, and it was definitely a moment.
Yeah, of course. It was just really just heartbreaking to watch. I know I saw a live of somebody's live feed with it, and just really, really, it is heartwarming to see if, again, the previous members just show up for Liam Payne, because again, One Direction's impact on especially my generation's young girls and just generally young fans in general was huge. So really, really glad he's getting his flowers now.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to happen after he passes away. One Direction just a cornerstone of, like you said, Gen Z, and it's a hard loss for sure. But it's good. His son was there. His family was there for his mourning, and yeah, that's all I really got to say about that. But switching gears a little bit, on Instagram, they just announced a feature that you'll be able to reset your algorithm, and this is mainly aimed at teenagers who have been feeling the mental health effects of social media. So now you can go into your settings and reset what you see in the suggested content, including like the Reels, the Explore page, and just your feed overall. But then eventually the recommendations personalize again over time. So if you don't like what you're seeing on Instagram, then you can get a little reset. You could look at new things. If you were, looking at stuff like car crashes used to show up on my Instagram Reels all the time, and now it's a lot of cat videos. You could make your social media what you want it to be, which seems a lot better than the current algorithms today. What do you guys think as teenagers? How has social media kind of shaped your mental health, and how do you feel about this new decision to be able to reset your algorithm?
Just straight off the bat, I like the choice. I can't lie. It's catering the experience. So at the end of the day, kids our age, or maybe even younger in some cases, even though they're probably not supposed to be on the platform. But at the end of the day, it makes the Instagram experience probably much better, and it can cater it, and it can make it a more positive experience out of it.
Yeah, I think my experience that I've had overall with Instagram has been, I'd say, probably more positive than most people, because I'm never one who got into social media really early on. Like, I've got Instagram really, really late compared to most of my friends, I feel like. So I would say I've always kind of just been more on like the cautious side with like, oh, I don't really, go spending a lot of time scrolling. Like I use it a lot more now that I'm like in college doing a lot of stuff for social media as far as like what we do here at Cronkite, Blaze, you name it. So I'm excited, especially with having younger siblings. That's one thing that I really worry about, with all the stuff that you see online, because even like my algorithm, I'll get some stuff in there that'll be crazy. I'm like, oh, this is, depressing, or this is, oh, I don't want to be seeing this. And that's stuff that I don't want my siblings to necessarily be experiencing, whether it's in middle school or in grade school. So I think it is, like you guys said, it's a good change, needed change.
I'd like to say it's a need to change. I'm pretty much the opposite. I feel like I've always been on social media. I've definitely been on the more analytical side. I ran a couple of Instagram accounts for my high school, and then now I'm running the RHA Instagram account. So it's really easily to just get lost into the algorithm and getting lost into those likes, the number of likes, the number of shares, etc., etc. So the fact that they're kind of automatically putting teens into private accounts, I feel like is definitely going to have useful effects. Even though it might be frustrating for some of them, I feel like it's definitely a needed decision.
Yeah, I think Instagram, they've done the best out of any social media to really ensure mental health, and I think that comes from a lot of backlash that Mark Zuckerberg faced with Facebook and Instagram a little while ago. But yeah, now it's very different. Snapchat, I think, needs to catch up. I think a lot of teenagers are addicted to Snapchat, addicted to Instagram, and TikTok. TikTok is the killer. I hope that TikTok implements the same thing, because I know a lot of kids get sucked in looking at the same stuff on TikTok, and it negatively affects them. So hopefully now it could be more positive stuff. Like I said, my feed has been a lot of animal videos lately, and it's making me so much happier because I love cute animal videos. Like I get one of this guy. He has a pet cow, and the cow is massive, and he always tries to make food, but the cow just eats everything. It's pretty awesome to see. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's my favorite account on Instagram right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, and switching gears again into politics, the WWE co-founder Linda McMahon has been appointed to run the Department of Education under President-elect Donald Trump. McMahon ran the Small Business Administration for much of Trump's first term, and McMahon's husband, Vince, is currently caught in lawsuits alleging him of sexual abuse and trafficking, and now his wife could be running the Department of Education, which Trump plans to make a forefront of. He wants to get rid of it, reshape it, and she's one of many former TV personalities to be picked for Trump's cabinet, including Dr. Mehmet Oz, who recently got chosen to run the Medicare section of Trump's cabinet as well.
I find this to be fascinating because it feels like I'm in a reality TV show. We're going to have the McMahons. We're going to have Mehmet Oz. We're going to have Elon Musk. And what do we know about Donald Trump? I'm not going to get into an opinion here, but what I will say is this. He was a reality TV star at one point. Celebrity Apprentice, The Apprentice overall. It was TV Trump. So interesting picks for some of these positions, as we've seen, like Pete Hegseth, just right off the top of my head, was an interesting one, straight off the Fox News desk. Now going to be working in the political administration here, but I just find it to be fascinating because it's like the identity. It's like we want a TV show in there in politics. The combination is going to be interesting to see, and I think it's going to be a very interesting 4 years, to say the very least here.
Yeah, you got me laughing. Now I'm thinking about the Donald Trump appearance, and is it Home Alone 2 or 3 where
two.
He's
Yep.
it's in
Yes.
2? Okay, because
yeah.
that one always made me laugh as a kid. But I think what you said is completely true. So we will see.
Yeah, I totally agree. I find this whole thing to be totally fascinating. I'm excited to see where this thing goes.
Yeah, one more thing. I don't know if you'll find it fascinating or not, but live-action remakes are at the forefront of things. Live-action Moana and live-action How to Train Your Dragon are coming to screens next year. I got a glimpse of the trailer of the live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie coming out. It really doesn't look too bad compared to a lot of the live-action movies we've been seeing lately.
Yeah, I feel like in comparison to, I think the How to Train Your Dragon has had time for it to deserve a remake, but I will say I know that live action Moana is like planning on hitting the screens as well, but like they're barely making the second one, so I feel like that's a little too soon in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of fall in the same boat. I don't know. It's just like I feel like the idea that Disney had when they were like, oh, we're going to make live actions of our movies was like, oh, this is a cool idea. You had I think Cinderella was the first one they redid, and then they did
with Ellie Fanning.
Beauty and the Beast. And I thought those two were both really good. You had a good cast, you had a good retelling of the story, and it wasn't too like far from the original. And then you had some ones like Mulan, where there's no Mushu, there's no music, and I get what they were doing with it, but it just didn't really feel like Disney. So I'm curious to see how the How to Train Your Dragon live action will go, just because I don't know. It strikes a soft spot for me as a kid, but I suppose I'll give him a fair shot, but not Minecraft. That's bad. It's bad.
The Minecraft movie will definitely not be a view from me, I assume. But the Moana one, it has The Rock, has Zendaya.
That's true.
Star-studded cast. So I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest. And Melanie, do you want to take us into international news?
Yeah, very excited to see some of these films. So it's interesting where filmmaking is gone, right? Still, children's movies appeal to the masses. I guess that's the whole thing here from everything, right? Like Moana. I mean, you got a character like The Rock in there. I mean, that's pretty big. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, Melanie, international news. Let's hear it.
Yeah, a little bit more. Actually, this week's news is a little bit more exciting than the last couple of international news that have happened. Italy announced this last Tuesday, so yesterday, that they recovered Etruscan artifacts that were set to be sold on the black market. Quick definition on what Etruscan means. The Etruscan civilization existed from about 900 BC to 27 BC in central Italy, primarily between the Tiber and Arno rivers, covering parts of present-day Tuscany, Umbria, and Lazio, that was from the Associated Press. Okay, moving on to the actual important stuff. The Italian authorities seized an illegal excavation of Etruscan burial site in the central Umbria region. The illegal dig was next to another Etruscan burial site, which was discovered back in 2015 by quite literally a random farmer tilling his land. So they actually figured out the location due to that. It was due to a tip of photographs of artifacts circulating on the black market that resembled said artifacts from that previous land. So authorities used a drone with aerial photography and phone taps to locate the site, which actually belonged to a local businessman in the area who conveniently had access to earth-moving equipment, so like tractors, stuff like that. Italian authorities are currently investigating 2 people involved, but they haven't specified who. And the suspected theft in the illegal excavation included urns, sarcophagi, and multiple other things, which totaled to 8 million euros, or $8.5 million here in the U.S. Two sarcophagi, that's a really hard word to say, were believed to be of 2 Etruscan princesses, one of them still having the skeleton inside. They also had burial trousseaux inside of the sarcophagi, which was basically a collection of personal items, which were completed with more urns with battle and hunting scenes, perfume jars, and a comb made from bone found in there. So yeah, very large find. So.
Dang, I mean, I'm a big history buff. I love history. I go back to, there's a story about a emperor of China who had a tomb so grand, he recreated a map of China and had rivers of flowing mercury, and that's, again, they haven't actually found the tomb yet, but I would love for them to find it eventually, just because it's cool like that. So it does make me sad to hear that people are trying to sell this stuff and break into these historical sites and just try and get rid of stuff on the black market. But what are your guys' takes?
Yeah, I'm reading something on it right now, and it said that the police found a lot of the suspects after one of them posted a picture on Facebook of himself with the looted artifact, like flexing that he stole this ancient artifact. And it's like, come on, it is 2024, and you're still dumb enough to not be able to get away with a crime because you want to post yourself up with it. Like, could have gotten away with it too, maybe.
So, if it hadn't been for that meddling Facebook.
Yeah.
Crazy. Total crazy stuff.
Yeah, no.
Well, we are crunching up on time, and I do want to touch on something big for us ASU students. It is homecoming week. We've already had a couple of events. Friday night, though, you can all head out to the Hayden Butte, also known as the A Mountain, for the annual Lantern Walk. Every year since 1917, students, alumni, faculty, and staff climb up to the top of the mountain carrying lanterns. They light up Tempe ahead of the football game. It's going to take place at 5:30 p.m. at the base of the mountain. Hike begins at 6. You'll also see the ASU Homecoming Royalty Crown at the top of the butte, and then watch the Giant A get lit. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited. I think I'll be there. I encourage you guys all to go as well, because Saturday we roll right into the festivities with the Homecoming Parade. It's one of the longest running ASU traditions here. We're going to have Obviously, the football game against number 14 ranked BYU, number 21 ASU. So there's a lot on the line. You guys already touched on earlier with the Big 12 conference at stake. It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. Student pride. Who's ready?
Homecoming is definitely going to be a time. I'm kind of glad that College Game Day didn't come to Tempe this week because it would have interfered with the homecoming parade. So now we still get that to go, and I'm definitely going to be at the parade, hopefully for a little while, but I have to get in line for the game because that's what I'm really looking forward to. Melanie, what do you think?
I'm honestly ecstatic. I'm going to be right there cheering, not the football game, but I'm definitely going to go to hike. So, yeah.
All right, and I think that is a wrap for today's show. Like always, I'm Dominic Pasella.
I'm AJ Goncalves.
I'm Melanie Ochoa.
And my name is Noah Reed. Thank you so much, as always, for listening to the Wednesday edition of Traffic Jam. We will see you next week.